All right, we now have somebody we're really excited to have on the podcast today. She played college soccer for the University of Portland. She played professionally over in Iceland, and she played internationally for the U.S. U23 youth national team. And she currently now is the co-founder and CEO of Mendi, which is a CBD company that helps athletes with their recovery in a natural way. So we now welcome on Rachael Rapinoe. Thank you for coming on today.
Thank you, Will and Chuck, for having me. I'm excited to be here and tell you a little bit about my journey.
All right, so before we jump into that, we do some quick hitting questions, just like rapid fire, 1 or 2 word, or really quick answers, okay?
Okay.
All right, what was your first job?
Probably a babysitter, if that counts. I mean, I didn't get a W-2, but I got paid for it.
Which emoji do you use most often?
Probably the eye roll.
What is your hidden talent if you have one?
I'm a really good cook.
If you could become fluent in another language, what would you choose?
Spanish, 100%.
What is your favorite type of birthday cake?
I mean, I grew up on like the funfetti cake, but to be honest, I'm more of like a cobbler pie girl.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
If you could raid someone's closet, who would it be?
My sisters, without a doubt.
Who would you play in a movie?
No, who would play you in a movie?
Oh, sorry. Who would play you in a movie? Sorry about that.
Who would play me in a movie? Well, I mean, I'd like to think Natalie Portman.
Do you like staring at clouds or stars more?
Stars. That's a great question.
Choose 2 musical artists that you would want to see collaborate.
Probably, man, that's a tough one. I would say Dolly Parton and Aretha Franklin.
Interesting.
If you could eat only one food for the rest of your life, what would it be?
My dad's homemade Italian meat sauce.
Very good. That's all I have.
Sweet.
Awesome.
So you said you're a really good cook. I'm just curious, what's like your specialty that you cook, or do you have anything that you are really good at cooking?
I have a lot of things. I mean, I just kind of grew up in a long line of very good cooks, the type of cooks that can just like open up the fridge, go in the pantry and like whip something delicious together. So I think for me, like I'm that kind of cook. I mean, I can cook staple recipes, but I think I just kind of have a knack for it. You know, some people just kind of like know what spices go together, know what foods go together, what wine to pair with it. I definitely think I got that gene from my mom and her sisters. I would say, you know, homemade soups with like bone-in meat is just like always a good go-to. I love grilling. I love like interesting marinades. And then I make a really good homemade meat sauce, like diced tomatoes, like the fresh stuff. So I just actually came up with that recipe last year, or maybe a year and a half ago. Because my girlfriend at the time, like the canned tomatoes, a lot of times it has red dye in it. So it can make you kind of like, you know, give you some digestive issues. So I just like started using fresh ones, and it's become like definitely a staple.
You got to start your own cookbook.
I know. Well, actually my mom and her sisters want to start one, and I may just like jump in there.
Yeah, I need that because I'm 20 years old, so I'm just like kind of starting to cook for myself and stuff, and it's like kind of just throw stuff together, but it usually involves like either rice or like ramen or something really easy. I don't really have that the crazy recipes.
Me personally, for myself, I like cooking pasta a lot. That's my go-to, and like you said, I'll just go in my fridge and just grab like whatever's in there and make anything like
sort
that.
Of sauce.
Yeah,
just whip it together.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I love pasta. I can't, like, the gluten is tough for me. I definitely have a sensitivity to gluten. So honestly, my favorite starch is rice. I love rice. It's like my go-to for sure.
Mm-hmm. All right. So I want to, before we talk about Mendi and everything, I kind of want to talk about your playing career for a little bit. So can you walk us through like how you got started playing soccer? When did you start playing, and some of the teams you played for?
Yeah, I mean, you know, my career was kind of probably like a lot of other people's careers. You know, it's like Meg and I were the youngest of 6 kids, and we grew up in the country and on 5 acres, and we were like out doing everything under the sun all the time. And we just started playing like every different sport, but we definitely gravitated towards soccer. Our older brother, Brian, played, and we really idoled him. and we would go to a lot of his practices, and he played for a traveling team. And so we'd like travel down to Sacramento and different parts of Northern California. And so I think we just like loved that aspect of competitive soccer. And so, you know, we kind of just wanted to be him. And so we started playing, and then we ended up being really good at it. And I think like a lot of things, when you realize that you're good at something, it makes it more enjoyable. And then you just want to keep doing it. So we were playing soccer and basketball for the majority of our life. We dabbled in swimming and track. We did, I think, 2 years of softball and volleyball, but definitely gravitated towards the more like high intensity sports. And then in high school, we grew up in Redding, and we had to play on a club team in Sacramento, which was like 2.5 hours away because there was no competitive team in Redding. So we had to make that drive. Every Tuesday we went down for practice, and then on the weekends, obviously, we went down for games. And so we were doing that in tandem with basketball. And then I think our junior year, we realized we just like were not getting the same scholarships in basketball that we were for soccer. We weren't very tall, you know, I'm like 5'5", she's 5'7". So we weren't going to have a promising basketball career. But you know, it was kind of our number one love, to be honest, but soccer was just going to give us more opportunity. And we loved it. But yeah, so we played on that Sacramento team all through high school. And then we both came up here to the University of Portland and played up here, and we won a national championship. Unfortunately, that's when like all my injuries started, was in college. So I blew out my knee twice. Megan blew out her knee twice. So all in, I was up here for 4.5 years playing at UP, but we only played one full season together. So it was kind of a bummer because we were so injury ridden. And then after I graduated from college, I took about 1.5 years. I had to get 2 big knee surgeries, and then started playing again with the UCLA women's team. I was down there coaching, and realized like I could still play. So that's when I went and played in Iceland, came back, worked. I was going to go play in Sweden for like my last season, and I just kind of wanted to like get into my career. And then I fractured my ankle during a pickup game. Robbie Williams actually officially ended my career. I don't know if you guys are familiar with him. He's like the famous British musician. He tackled me, fractured my ankle, and then I was just done.
He fractured your ankle? He was the one?
Yeah. He
That's
has
so
a
random.
court, so he lives like up on Mulholland Drive, just north of Hollywood. And he has an outdoor small-sided field that's kind of like an underground situation where you have to like get invited to this email list, and then the email goes out, and like everyone quickly signs up for the session. I think they play like twice a week or whatever. And so I was playing up at his court, and he's usually never there, but he was there this one time. And I was on the ball, and like he came in hard, and I kind of juked him, and he just like got my ankle and just like totally fractured it. He felt really bad though.
That's super random that he was the one that did it.
I know. Little fun fact about me: Robbie Williams officially ended my soccer career.
Wow. Does he know that now? Did he know who you were then, or was you just like any other person that was on the email list there?
Yeah, I think I was just any other person. I was never like as big as my sister's name, obviously. But he did email me after. I got an email from him, and he felt so bad. He apologized and stuff. So no hard feelings, Robbie, if you're ever going to listen to this.
Yeah.
We'll tag him.
So are you involved in soccer now at all? Like, are you still playing pickup ever or anything?
Was for a while. I worked at Nike for a little bit, and I played pickup out there like 3 days a week. And I played for like a couple like futsal leagues here, an outdoor small-sided league. But to be honest, when you've had as many surgeries and injuries as me, I'm also the CEO of it. This is my second company that I founded too. So, life is really busy, and it's just not worth it to get injured because I'm responsible for a lot, and it just like, it would just suck if I got seriously injured because of pickup soccer. So I don't play. I mean, I still like sometimes we'll kick the ball around with my family or with Meg. I mostly just I love high intensity workouts. I love my interval runs. I love strength circuits. I love cycling. So I mostly just do that kind of stuff.
So where did your inspiration come from to kind of be an entrepreneur and go that route?
I love figuring things out. I love connecting dots, and I'm a very like opportunistic person. A lot of times when I see a problem, I, solve it in the lens of like, okay, where's the opportunity here? Where's the need? So I've always kind of been curious that way. And, I think if I'm being honest, it came from this place of like, when I was done playing soccer, I was definitely kind of having like an identity crisis because I was used to being an elite athlete my whole life. And then you get done retiring or you retire and you get done playing and, you just don't really have a ton of immediate transferable skill sets to go get like a very good job, a salaried position where you're making really good money and where you feel valued. And so after a few years of kind of like taking okay jobs, but honestly hating them and not getting paid a lot, I just was kind of like, F it. I'm going to just do what I want to do. I'm going to figure it. I'm going to carve a place out for myself in this world. And I always have been passionate about health and wellness. I have my undergrad in biology, my master's of science in exercise science. I built a training business here in Portland, trained elite collegiate professional athletes. My sister and I had an event business. We had an apparel business. So just kind of like used soccer and used, the opportunity that was before us to make a business and to make money off of it. And I just, I just really love, connecting the dots for people to live their best life and to be their best self. And that's what we're doing with Mendi too. I mean, ultimately, like we're providing healthier tools for people to feel better.
So with CBD specifically and Mendi, like, is there a specific moment when you kind of like that you look back on where you're like, oh, this is now I like see like how helpful like CBD is in the recovery process. I want to like turn this into a business operation. Is there like a moment like that, or was it just like a process over time?
It was kind of a process. I mean, it was like me learning and really diving into the role recovery plays in, to optimize performance during my years building my training business and during my master's degree. It was my personal experience of being injured at the age of 21 and starting to take opiates for the first time. By the age of 26, I had taken more opiates than anyone ever should and had access to those pills more so than anyone ever should. And seeing what it's done in the professional landscape as well. Obviously, it's, we see it all the time. Athletes are overprescribed, they misuse and abuse opiates. The big pharma industry is a multi-billion-dollar industry, and it's just destroyed a lot of lives and a lot of communities around this country. So it's like that. And then I started using this stuff myself. I met one of my business partners, Kendra, who has been a farmer for 15 years. So she's been working in the cannabis industry from seed to sale, ran her own operation in Southern Oregon. And, I think like my own just kind of like self-discovery process of using cannabis and hemp products and really seeing the benefits from it. And, especially when you consistently use it over a period of time, I found myself significantly reducing my NSAID use. So my over-the-counter med use, Advil, ibuprofen, Tylenol, all that. And it just, it's changed my life. It really is. It's not a cure-all, but the cannabis and phytocannabinoids are so good for our bodies. And, we have a system that's like ready to take it. And it really helps combat a lot of ailments that like a lot of Americans, not just athletes, but everyday consumers are feeling. So I knew there was a need for this. I believe in the plant 100%. I want to destigmatize it in sports and, ultimately, just like lend the trusted lens to athletes and leagues and teams that are looking to partner with companies.
I have a little anecdote to speak on to kind of highlight the opioid issue. Two of my friends from my college team both broke their foot around the same time, and it required surgery, and they were prescribed opioids like painkillers to kind of help with it. And I think the doctor prescribed them each 30, and they only needed to take 2 or 3 each. And luckily, like they're not idiots, and didn't abuse them. They threw out the rest. But like for people that don't know any better, they could easily take all 30 of them and then get hooked, and then that's just down a dark path for the rest of their life, basically, unless they get help. So it definitely is an issue.
Yeah, I just to give you a glimpse too, like when I was 21, I was prescribed 90 pills, and I had 3 refills of those 90 pills, which is crazy. And for me, I have a brother who's a heroin addict and a pill addict, and he's been in and out of prison for 30 years. And so And I saw the pain that caused not only on my family, but just like the destructiveness in his life. You know, he's never been able to like live the life that you and I can live. So, but I don't know if I wouldn't have had that personal experience with addiction, maybe I could have been an addict, you know, because these things are like seriously addictive. And even just using them for the short amount of time that I did, like when I went off of them, I could feel my body going through withdrawals. I could feel the aches and just kind of like that weird withdrawal symptom. But I think for me, it was because I have a brother who's an addict. Like I just didn't even want to go down that path, you know?
Absolutely.
So a question I have is how do you kind of shake the stigma around cannabis and all that? Like obviously having a lot of high profile professional athletes definitely builds like a reputable brand, but how do you kind of cater that then towards like the more everyday consumer?
It's a great question. I mean, obviously we're still fighting that. We're still trying to like climb that uphill battle of destigmatizing it. But I do think that education, like everything, education is the key to progress. And it is going to be the key for this industry to mature. And so I'll only speak from Mendi's, perspective. We believe that the more you can normalize it, the more you can connect the dots of like when and how to use these products and how to incorporate them into your everyday or weekly routines. I think that is what's going to tip it into the more mainstream market, because I think for a lot of people, they don't really know how to use them. There's probably some fear around it. There's still a lot of confusion around like hemp and marijuana and THC versus CBD. And so the more you can story tell around like, hey, the athlete X just worked out, she's going to pop in a gummy, or he's going to pop in a gummy, or like athlete X just sprained their ankle, they're going to rub on the salve stick, do a workout after, they're going to rub the salve stick on again. So I think just like connecting the dots and just making these products relatable to your day-to-day life it's been really helpful for us. It's definitely been a huge, driver of success in just like our storytelling.
It seems that you kind of brand it as like an athlete recovery tool, but is there something different about it that gears it towards that, or can it be used in like an everyday use for somebody who doesn't play sports?
Yeah, I think it's definitely, I mean, we're using athletes to kind of tip into a more mainstream market, but and because they have bigger platforms to speak about this stuff, but it's definitely for the everyday consumer. It's for the, consumer who has ailments or chronic injuries or like inflammation or pain, who's like tired of just using the over-the-counter meds that don't get to the root of the problem. And I think for our products specifically, and I can't speak for like all the other products on the market, but we formulate them with not just hemp. We put other all natural elements in there, like something like arnica oil that's great for inflammation and pain relief. So we're using like other natural remedies in conjunction with hemp to, again, like get to the root of the problem. But our positioning is definitely for athletes and athletic recovery.
So personally, I like coming up on 2 weeks, I sprained my ankle pretty badly. What product would you say like would help that, and like how would it help heal a sprained ankle?
So I would definitely use, if I was you, our cream or our salve stick. And really the only difference, the salve stick has a few more herbs in there that are going to help with pain relief and inflammation, but the cream also has arnica oil. It's got great oil carriers. The difference is that the cream has shea butter, so it's a little bit thicker. So like you wouldn't want to put that on pre-workout because then you're going to like sweat it all off. The salve stick you can kind of put on anytime. It has like the salve, so it's going to catch the sweat. It's not going to be like super thick and oily. So that's really the difference. Like the salve stick, you don't have to, you can kind of just push it up. You don't have to get your hands dirty. So that's other than our gummies, our salve stick is a number 2 seller. And I think just the convenience and like on the go, easy use of it is probably why our consumers are more attracted to it. But the cream is great too. It's just, you got to put on your hands. And then if you're sweating, it's definitely going to like sweat a lot.
Yeah. So
but
is that
something like that would be great.
So is it something you do pre like exercise or post exercise or both?
Both. Yeah, both. Definitely. Our salve stick you can put on whenever. The massage oil you can put on whenever. Again, the cream, is just a little thicker. So you would definitely want that to be like a post-workout nighttime, massaging it into those like inflamed areas, massaging it into like tendonitis. I've noticed, because I definitely still get like some aches and pains on my kneecaps. But when I put like that cream on for a couple days straight, it's gone. So yeah, and in terms of like tinctures, we have day and night tinctures, and then we have gummies and gel caps. And again, it's just the type of application that you want to use. The gummies obviously have some extra sugar in there, so some people don't want that. So then we would like steer them towards the gel caps. Tinctures are phenomenal because it's like a super high concentrated oil, so you're going to get more milligrams.
So I believe I read that you guys were partnered with the Major League Lacrosse League. Is that true?
So last year we were the official CBD sponsor of the PLL. Yeah. But that contract's run up. So this year we're focusing more on Olympic stuff. So we're not doing any like team or league sponsorships this year. But yeah, it was fun. I mean, it was a bummer that we were in the pandemic. We couldn't do stadium activations, but the PLL is great. I love what they're doing. They're definitely transforming the lacrosse landscape. I think they're doing a fantastic job.
What about the NWSL? Like, do you guys have any? Because I know you have some like partnerships with teams specifically, right? Or do you have it with the league as a whole?
Not the league as a whole, but we were the CBD partner for the North Carolina Courage. We were the CBD partner for the Utah Royals. And then we obviously signed Meg. And then we actually had 9 NWSL players invest in Mendi. 3 of them are on the US women's team coming off the World Cup. So we, I guess, we have league investment through those 9 players. And then with Meg, obviously, but, no, we haven't done a league-wide partnership, mostly because like it just, with our first year being in market last year, we just didn't have the deep pockets for that. But it's definitely something, I mean, we want to support the league as best we can. It just was tough to work, do those kind of sponsorships like in a pandemic.
Yeah. That's something I wanted to touch on, was the pandemic and kind of how that affected your business as a whole. Cause like you started this in 2019, I believe. And kind of, it was like probably everything was trending upward and the pandemic happens, and then what happens there? So can you kind of like, how would you describe 2020? Like, obviously you probably made the most out of it, but I'd like to hear your thoughts.
Yeah, we tried to. I mean, 2020 was hard. I'm not gonna lie. It was very hard. We like worked very hard for every dollar we made. I mean, we came to market the end of 2019, so Q4, with 3 products in one line, our baseline, which was our CBD only line. We had gummies, gel caps, and selfstick. So, really we consider like 2020 is our first full year in market. And, we did well. We got a lot of traction considering the unprecedented year that we had. We had to build everything online. So we doubled down on our e-com, our D2C model, and launched a full spectrum hemp line as well. So kind of doubled down on cannabis, doubled down on e-com, which was great. I think that definitely, it was already where we wanted to go, and it just forced us to do it a little bit sooner. But it was definitely, I mean, we didn't recoup the ROI from those team and league sponsorships the way we would have without a pandemic. I mean, just like think about it. We first year in market, we didn't do a single person-to-person activation, single brand activation. We had events, speaking engagements, speaking panels lined up every month in 2020, and they all got canceled. So definitely, I mean, it hurt us, it hurt everyone, but being a first year business, it's not the type of year that you want to go into. But considering that, man, I'm so proud of our team. We got a ton of traction. We launched over like 35 SKUs, 7 categories, signed over 20 athletes, 2 teams, 1 league, raised $800,000, brought 2 full-time employees in. So, we got a lot done. I think it just is a huge testament to just how much our team, believes in what we're doing, and the type of, how much we're willing to work and grind it out to like make Mendi successful.
So now, after having some time doing it, is there any advice that you would give to somebody starting out in the business world? And I guess a follow-up to that would be kind of, is there something you wish somebody told you in the beginning of your career that would have helped you along the journey so far?
In terms of advice, my 3 pieces of advice are always this. It's really hard. It's being an entrepreneur, starting a business is not for the faint of heart. It's very hard, and you have to be willing to roll up your sleeves and be in the trenches and like do anything that's required of you. Number 2, don't wait for perfection. If you wait for things to be perfect, you're going to miss your opportunity. Not every business has to be first to market, but it's important to be second wave at least. So don't miss your opportunity. Don't wait for things to be perfect, especially in the beginning stages. You're kind of always in an iteration process. Number 3 is you can't do it alone. You have to have help. Nobody is a self-made man or woman. Everybody has help. You're either, you're either successful because of your employees, because of your business partners, because of the stakeholders or investors. Like, someone's helped you along the way. So just get the right people, put them in the right place, let them do their thing. What I've learned definitely is it's really important to stay hyper focused on your strategy and on the end game. I think it's very common for young entrepreneurs and early stage companies to kind of just be all over the place and like chase money and chase the next opportunity. So the more disciplined you can be with your strategy and with your brand vision and product vision, the better off you're going to be in the long run.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I feel like we definitely have learned a lot of the same lessons just from doing our podcast, like especially just being like niche down and having like a vision at the end to like keep you focused, because you might like go off the rails one way, but to just realign you. But something I kind of wanted to ask about was I watched a few episodes of your Instagram TV show, the Sideline Huddle.
Oh yeah.
And one of the questions you always ask are, what are some small everyday wins that you have in your life? So I'm curious, what are some small, as an entrepreneur or even just as a person, what are some small everyday wins you have in your life to keep you motivated?
Oh, there's a lot. I'll tell you 4. How about that? Okay, number 1 is movement. Definitely. Movement is like the key to everything in life. It does so much for your body, your hormonally, your metabolism, your sleep, your balance, wellness. So my workouts and just like movement, fresh air, so important. Sleep is number 2. I have to get a minimum of 8 hours of sleep, upwards to 9 sometimes. My brain is working so hard during the day. So like getting that deep REM sleep and feeling recovered every day is really important for me to make the decisions I need to make. Number 3 is mindfulness. I'm a big believer in journaling. I'm a big believer in meditation. And just kind of like leaning into what you're feeling and leaning into hard conversations. That's been very helpful for me, especially during these stages, because it can be very stressful and anxiety ridden. So it's important to like be mindful and to keep this stuff at bay as best you can. And number 4 is my dog. I love my dog.
What kind of dog?
Yeah.
He might walk in if I call him. He's a pit mix. He's a brindled pit. They think I haven't done like a DNA test. So I got him actually November of 2019. So he's a pre-COVID pup, and I got him, he was 4 months old, and now he's like a year and 7 months. And you guys know what brindled is? The coloring that it's like when you're like different shades of brown and black, and he's got like white down here. Yeah. So he's pit. I think he's boxer, plot hound. He's got like these big old floppy ears. He's so cute. And fun fact, I didn't even know this. So I adopted him from my sister's teammate up in the rain. She's a pity lover. She has 2 herself. And so she rescued him, or she was fostering him and his brother. And she knew that I wanted like a brindled pit mix. So I adopted him from her, and I brought him down here to Portland because she was living in Seattle. And I took him into the vet to get his 2nd round of vaccines, and they printed out his paperwork. And they were telling me that like he was born on July 5th and he was, 4.5 months old or whatever. And I was like, July 5th? No way, because that's my birthday.
Yeah.
That's my sister and I's birthday. And so he was born supposedly on July 5th, which I had no idea when I adopted him. So it's serendipity.
Yeah.
It's close to Chuck's birthday.
Yeah. My
Chuck's
birthday's
birthday is
July
July
10th.
Oh, really? You're a Cancer.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah. Megan and I are July 5th. My brother Brian's July 7th. Angelo's July 5th. So he'll turn 2 this summer.
Nice.
Yeah. But yeah, I love my pup. He's been like a saver in this pandemic. You know, I'm working from home. I spend long hours working. I'm in my house a lot. So just having him where I can at least like get outside twice a day is so nice.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's definitely good to have that. For me personally too, something I had started doing a lot was, I mean, I was doing a lot even before pandemic, but was just exercising. Like I would go out every single day because I was living at home and like living with Will, and like we have another brother, and like my parents, it gets like crowded in there. So I would I would go out for like a bike ride every day for like 2 hours just to like get some peace of mind, and you know, just it's
Yeah.
really good.
Yeah, movement is so important. I mean, there's so much chemically that happens to your brain, your body, your hormones when you move. Definitely helps with stress, definitely helps with anxiousness for sure.
Yeah, the big one now that I want to start working on is sleep, because I definitely like my sleep schedule is not the best, and I feel like that's something I constantly hear, especially from people we have on the podcast, is just how important sleep is for their recovery and just for feeling good.
That's really important. It's like, other than movement, sleep is like the next best thing you can do for your body. It helps with so much.
Yeah.
Why?
And
What's your sleep schedule? Is it crazy? Are you going to bed at like 3 a.m.?
Not 3 a.m. or like
I'm 2 a.m.
1
I'm
to
2 to
2.
10. I get a good 8 hours though.
Yeah.
Because I don't have, I'm a full-time student, so
yeah,
I
to
don't
be
have
fair,
class till 11.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I go sleep till 10, 8 to 10, or sorry, 2 to
Yeah.
10. Good 8 hours.
2 to
Yeah.
10.
I was trying to get on a good one because I was starting working again, and I have to wake up at 7. But then I hurt my ankle and I haven't been able to do anything. But so I've just been staying up late, but trying to work on it.
Man. Yeah, get your sleep. Use
Yeah.
CBD.
Put you right to sleep.
Yeah, exactly.